I'm actually very excited because this sun is probably the first sun that I've seen really since Friday whenever I was at the Little Bighorn battlefield. It's been very hazy all the way through Montana, up to Glacier, which of course was closed. And then it got clear on the way down near Plains, Montana. By the time I got into Idaho, I started hitting a lot of areas that were just, by the time I got to Spokane, it was just, well, I think I actually did a video from there, or at least posted some pictures. So um, that's what it is. But this valley is pretty stark, behind me. And again, a lot of this is mist from the morning. You can tell, I mean, it's almost like a gray mist instead of what the other thing was, which was the brown, which is over towards the east. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to see the mountain from near Spirit Lake. I'm hoping. May of 1980, we are 16 miles away from Mount St. Helens, and this valley is still leveled, but far from dead. They call this the burn zone, that the heat blast from the volcano killed these great trees that are standing here. The heat of it actually killed them. Didn't knock them over. That's the blast zone, but this is like the heat zone. But you can see how far away some of the trees have fallen, but many of them in the distance are still standing. And these new trees, some of them planted by the forestry department in an attempt to bring back the ecosystem here in this valley. It's very smoky looking to the east. There were several fires coming in on US 12 from Yakima. And but I seem to be west of all the fires and heading towards Mount St. Helens near Spirit Lake, and then onto the visitor center off of Interstate 5, and then off to Fort Clatsop. So there is a photograph from where we are, and the haze will follow me everywhere. But if you can see, that is Mount St. Helens. Not this thing here, but that little, very hazy mammoth in the distance. That's Mount St. Helens. This is the north side of the crater. Had I been standing here during the eruption in May of 1980, I would have been dead in seconds, probably blown completely apart, never to be found. They said that the blast traveled over 600 miles an hour as it came out of the north. And that landslide, it just kind of fell, it just kind of dropped, exposing the volcano itself before the blast. Just basically flowed, almost puked out into Spirit Lake. And Spirit Lake is down below. This was a resort. All of these mountains and ranges and these ridges that you see down below would have been lush green with evergreen, just lush, just thick trails, campsites, campgrounds, even parking lots. The lake is still here, and now this is getting really high, so I'm going to come around it. But the lake is still here. The lake's level was raised 200 feet. 200 feet. So a lot of the lodge and stuff like that would have been just completely submerged if it would have survived the blast, which it probably didn't. Several people actually were killed. One of them, Harry Truman, who actually decided to stay, here at the lodge that he had built. He's gone. No one even knows where that probably is. But what you might see like this little gray portion of the lake. And what that is they call that the log mat. Believe it or not, those are rotting logs that are just, teamed up together. You see like a little island of one right there. And that's from the blast. As you can imagine, if it was raised up 200 feet, it's taking a lot of the debris and stuff like that with it. So the blowdown would have happened instantaneous. Then the landslide would have slowly pushed into the lake, and that's what you see there. The landslide, well, I call it puking out into the lake, would have been rising the levels, and that water would have caught a lot of those logs. And and then created that log mat. So that's actually water there, doubled the size of the lake, ironically. And the lake has come back, so it's actually supporting fish and all kind of things. I don't know if you can go down there. I decided that what I was going to do is I was going to come here first, then go to the visitor center. So I'm going to try to kind of take down. I don't know if you could see that or not, but that is the north face of Mount St. Helens, and that is pretty cool. So now I'm going to hike back down off the ridge, and in front of me is Mount St. Helens, and then over my right shoulder, oh, interfering, over my right shoulder then is Spirit Lake. And I misspoke myself. If I would have read the plaque before I actually did the video, I would have found out that the location of Harry Truman's lodge is known. Now, of course, his remains are unknown. I mean, nobody knows exactly, second by second what happened. I mean, probably would have been blown completely off the grid, but right down there is where his lodge was. There's like a little mound of logs there. I'm not saying that that's the remains of his lodge, but that's what the map said. So, I wish you can go up there, but that is still an active volcano. So, they don't want anybody going up there. Make sure that their family is not okay. I got to deal with the kids coming down. Coming up, there was this kid screamed the whole way down until his father picked him up and carried him. Poor man. He deserves some kind of medal. But in any event, that's the, I think you can see it down there. Yep. Parking lot. Little stairs that go down. Uneven. And more haze. Well, I think I'm going to go to the visitor center, then head to the ocean. I'm not that far away. And then my trip west will be complete unless I start swimming. Anybody that knows me knows I can't swim.